And we got to start off with the breaking news as of 10 minutes ago, which is Christian McCaffrey was just traded to the San Francisco 49ers. So I got up on the screen what our haul is. So Christian McCaffrey was traded for a second, a third, and a fourth this year, and a fifth next year. So Clark, what is your initial reaction to Christian McCaffrey being
I mean,
a
I will
49er?
say, first off, for the 49ers, good for them. This makes schematically a lot of sense. This is a guy that I think will just get fed by Jimmy Garoppolo out of the backfield. It's a lot of dink and dunk sometimes he likes to do. It expands their offense. It gives them another explosive weapon to use. I know they said they wanted first-round picks as Carolina, but I'm assuming with this deal that Carolina transferred almost the entirety of the contract to San Francisco, which I guess financial freedom is almost just as good as maybe a first-rounder.
Wait,
But
sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. I didn't even think about this. So my sports state update just tweeted out the 49ers also do not have a first round pick because they traded away for Trey Lance, which means they don't have a pick in the first 4 rounds of this upcoming draft.
yeah, so if you're the 49ers, you're really banking on this working out. Like, I mean, look, you can be really good at evaluating talent, but if you don't have a pick for the first 4 rounds, that's tough. But I think ultimately, as a San Francisco fan, you should be excited. The goal, obviously, every year, I feel like for a franchise like that is to compete for a title. I think this is a team that can make a really deep run. But again, when you start Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't think you can win a Super Bowl. But I think this is a good move. I think for Carolina, again, people will be like, well, where's the first round picks? But Carolina just earned a ton of financial ability at this point. They're going to be in a rebuilding mode. The ability to spend money will be something that they certainly look for to help surround what is going to probably be the number 1 overall quarterback in either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud coming there. So the ability to invest financially in them might be more important and not, in players that are established, maybe than just sticking rookies around him could help his growth, whoever they draft. But I'm a little bit surprised they didn't get a first rounder, but I think it was still a decent haul for Carolina. Again, assuming that they're getting this financial freedom from it.
To tell you the truth, I didn't think they were going to get a first rounder.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be tough.
I didn't think they were going to get that. I understood that that's what they were saying the block is, but every team's going to act like their player should be worth more. This is way more than I expected, to be quite honest. I thought it would just kind of be a 2, and then that would kind of be it. Mm-hmm. But for the 49ers to trade the first 4 picks of their draft, you're basically saying, hey, this is it.
Yeah, exactly.
If we don't win this year, we're done.
I mean, it's a lot of like, put your money where your mouth is at that standpoint. I totally agree. If you're San Francisco, obviously if you get Lance back next year, I mean, you still have a solid team, but you've traded all of your draft capital essentially for next year. I mean, you'll have your 5th and 6th, but your 7th, but that probably won't be anything more than depth players at that point. And then, yeah, I mean, it's a go for it now mode, which if you're San Francisco, though, again, I think you do have to try that. I think you have a team that's built to win now, and I think you need to surround it with as many weapons as possible. My only concern, again, with Christian McCaffrey, I think he's ultimately talented. I think he's one of the best backs when he's on the field, but the key is on the field. I feel like a lot of times throughout the years, McCaffrey's just not on the field. I think his role in Shanahan's offense will be awesome. I think he'll get a ton of usage, but I think with that at the same time comes the opportunity to be hurt quite a bit. So I'll be interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a deal that makes sense. To tell you the truth, I don't really know if it moves the needle that much. Like maybe this wins them 1 or 2 more games, but I don't know if we ultimately get into the playoffs if I'm like, yeah, now the Niners are the favorites.
No, I tend to agree. I mean, because again, look, this is a 49ers team that last week, the reason they lost that game to Atlanta is because they're hurt. They had 13 players, 12 starters missing or something last week. So you're adding a guy who is really talented, but is super injury prone. So again, I'm not thinking this is some sort of it's a really good thing for them to get. Obviously, you want to add as many offensive weapons as you possibly can. I'm not trying to understate that. However, for me, this isn't a massive, wow, this hurdles them into one of the best, you've got to put them in that top 5 category. It doesn't do that for me.
No, I don't think this moves them ahead of the Eagles in my mind. Honestly, I guess it just solidifies. I mean, now what do you do with Elijah Mitchell? I mean, Elijah Mitchell obviously is on the IR.
I know he's on the IR. I really thought that was something I thought about initially too, is that I thought Elijah Mitchell was more than good enough to carry this backfield when he gets back. You combine him with Jeff Wilson. Obviously, what his role will be vastly different, but I don't know what you do with him. Obviously, his role will be much smaller. McCaffrey will carry much of the load, but yeah, again, obviously, if you're a 49er fan, you're excited. I understand it. I think you hope it works out for him, but we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, Leland says he expects the Bills to get him, which I feel like a lot of people were predicting. I did not think that was going to happen personally.
No,
because they just drafted a running back in the second round with James Cook.
with James Cook, yeah. Plus, I will I will say this with Buffalo and a team like Buffalo, the way that they're playing. As cool as it would be to add a guy like Christian McCaffrey, I am someone who believes in some sort of forming of like team chemistry. I think Singletary and Cook back there do a good job. I don't know if you want to add someone else to it where it becomes like, oh, another piece of it where maybe you're having too many mouths to feed now on offense. I think where Buffalo's at is fine. I don't think they need to trade away some sort of massive draft capital to address a position that I feel like is not that big of a need. I mean, again, running back's not some sort of massive need where you like, oh, I have to have a first round talent. Buffalo's fine with Singletary and Cook. Like you said, the second round pick on the guy in Cook. I'm sure they want to see him develop before they would go out and make a move. Plus, they hold on to the draft capital for next year when they want to invest in it.
And I mean, yes, adding Christian McCaffrey would have been good for them, but for their long-term stability, it wouldn't have been a good. Like it would have just been for now, and then they pretty much would have had to cut him.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been some sort of, I don't know. I think the trade's good. I think it's fun for the NFL fan, but I think overall when we look back at it, it won't be something like, wow, this is something that won the 49ers a Super Bowl.